Hi, Kevin. John?
If you could lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item of business is the approval of the minutes of April 8th. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved. Motion to accept the meetings of April 8th.
Christine DeStacio, second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any discussion, corrections? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna,
Abstain? Okay.
no, I was not here.
All right, very good. Now we'll turn it over to the superintendent for the recognition
All
awards.
right, we have a lot today. So everybody stand by once you get the award. If you can just stay until everyone gets their awards, and then we'll go out and take some pictures. We'll take a little break, and then you can choose to leave or come back and whatever. Okay. All right, so we have You Inspire Me, Amir Moraine, but I hear that he's the mayor, so I'm going to refer to him as the mayor, Amir, because that's what we hear. So Amir, he was nominated by Darcy Strauss, who's here from Uncas. Principal Camp is right behind him. I proudly nominate, so Amir is a grade 2 student. I proudly nominate Amir Moraine as the You Inspire Me recipient for Uncas School. Amir comes off the bus each day with a big smile. He greets each staff member with a hug or a high five. Amir has overcome many challenges with the support of his family and staff members at Uncas. He is now able to read on his own, is able to use his words to express himself, and is a very kind friend. At the end of each day, Mayor Amir is eager to do a job to help out his teacher. When you ask Amir what he wants to do when he grows up, he will tell you, I want to be a police like Officer Jared. Or, I want to be at the barber shop with Anthony. Amir inspires us all to start your day giving each person you see a warm welcome, climb every mountain no matter how challenging it appears, do your best each week, and then treat yourself to something special. Don't forget that. Ambry, where is she? Come on up, Ambry. So this is the key is me. So this is the key is me. You're gonna stand behind me. So she was nominated by Brandy Lumpers, principal at Kelly Middle School. Is Brandy here? Oh, there she is. All right, Ambrine exemplifies the spirit of the key is me through her dedication, positive presence, and impact on our school community. As a school counselor, she goes far beyond the expected as she serves all students to help foster a positive climate and culture for our school and community. Ambrine is deeply engaged in every aspect of our school and community's culture. She not only attends all community events, she brings them to life. Whether she's organizing career day, applying henna art, choreographing student performances, coaching, dancing with grace, or cheering from the sidelines, Ambrine infuses joy into everything she does. Her participation is never passive, it's passionate and purposeful. What truly sets Ambrine apart is her ability to connect with students on a personal level. Her calm demeanor, welcoming smile, and sincere interest in each student's well-being create a space where they feel safe, heard, and empowered. She builds trust with ease and ensures that every student knows they matter. What her students say. She's very nice and helps kids calm down when they are in a tough situation. She has a great sense of humor. She's an amazing woman. She's always there for me and makes me smile every day. Well, we have a video. This is all the stuff. I had Yulissa Brooks, our communication person, do this because she's literally at every event, so it was easy to capture all the pictures. And I just cut myself, so give me a second here.
Oh.
I know, I don't want to get the awards. Thank you. All right. All right, next, Susan Topping. I make a difference. Susan here? All right, this one, I don't want to read that. Okay, this is I Make a Difference. She was nominated by Principal Bill Holligan. Is Bill Behavior Technician, RBT at Mahan School, Susan is an indispensable member of our school community. She possesses a unique ability to connect with students, particularly those with the most challenging behaviors. Her expertise in de-escalation, relationship building, and kindness allows her to make meaningful, lasting connections with students who need it most. Susan's a cornerstone of our preschool team. She is always visible, present, and ready to lend a hand, making her an invaluable asset across the entire building. Whether working with students one-on-one or offering assistance to colleagues, Susan does it all with warmth, professionalism, and an unwavering commitment to student success. She is a role model of dedication and compassion. I cannot think of anyone more deserving of this recognition. Congratulations, Susan. All right, our volunteer award, Jean Shalaba. Thank you. Jean, so before you came, I was talking to some of your colleagues and teachers here, and Yep, Miss Gomes said, I felt like when she walked in, it was Madonna walking into her. That's what she said.
It's awesome.
So,
What a compliment.
Jean has volunteered at Norwich Public Schools since 2000. Every year, she works closely with one or two classes, sometimes even three. The number of students she has impacted is immeasurable. When Jean walks into Veterans Elementary, you know the kiddos in 4th grade are going to experience something they will never forget. I don't know what that means, but she single-handedly creates core memories for students, whether it's the lesson on homemade bread, the smell that fills the hallway, or her juggling stuffed animals and shoeboxes for her famous book buddy activity. There is absolutely nothing better than having Jean in our school. Jean doesn't do this for the recognition, but rather for the love of students, their smiles, and the sense of enjoyment felt by everyone in the class she teaches. Some may say Jean's giving spirit is felt worldwide, and not just here at Veterans. She keeps herself busy outside of volunteering at Veterans by working in organizations that give back. It could be the thousands of books she donates around the globe, or helping girls access education in Africa. There are no limits to her charity and good energy. There is no one more deserving of this recognition. Our school and world are better because of Jean, and she was nominated by Principal Federici. All right, now we have 2 CAVE Student Leadership Awards, and we received this in the mail from CAVE, and these students were nominated by Mr. Lavoy. Mr. Lavoy? You here? Students are nominated to receive this award by their school principal. Students nominated exhibit the following leadership skills: willingness to take on challenges, capability to make difficult decisions, concern for others, ability to work with others, willingness to commit to a project, ability to understand issues clearly, and the ability to honor a commitment. So we have 2 students. The first student is Jared Palomino Flores. And our other student is Logan Weber. For those of you who were able to make the spelling bee, which was last week that we went? Last week was the spelling bee. Thank you, Principal Federici, for having this first spelling bee competition. And we would like to recognize the winner from Moriarty, Jude Roske. Roski. I pronounced it incorrectly. Roski. Okay, did I get it right? All right. Congratulations. That was awesome.
I'm gonna use it in a sentence now.
Mr. Roski.
What was the winning word?
What was the winning word?
Platinum.
Platinum? All right.
Love adult stuff.
I would have come in second place.
All right. We have the Michael's Cup Award. I have something from Mr. Allen, our athletic director, he wrote up. The 12th Annual Michael's Jewelers Unified Sports Cup Awards Banquet honoring students who participate in the Special Olympics. If I can actually have Andrew Camp come on up and Giovanni come on up. This honors students who participate in the Special Olympics Unified Sports Program presented by the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Congress and Special Olympics Connecticut. And this was held on Monday, April 28th, I'm sorry. The event is held each year to recognize high school and middle school students of all abilities who exemplify sportsmanship, enthusiasm, and teamwork as participants in Special Olympics Unified Sports. We were fortunate to have Andrew Camp and Giovanni recognize the students and their parents, Pete and Amanda Camp, and Juan and Amanda, are you here? You guys are right there, okay. This was held at the AquaTurf in Plantsville, Connecticut. And they're joined also, I think Coach Tig is here. Is Coach, there she is back there. And Principal Brandy Lumpris and Athletic Facilitator Ryan Morse. It's right there, okay. Congratulations. We have one more. Is this the one we're training? Okay. Allison Beat, our band director, she sent me an email and she said, I'm pleased to inform you that our music department and Norwich Public Schools have received a special certificate from the National Association for Music Education in recognition of our All-City Music Festival, which took place during Music in Our Schools Month. This reflects the hard work and dedication of our entire team. So come on up, Allison.
I just prepared a couple quick things. So I'm really excited to share that our district's music department received a certificate from the National Association for Music Education for being a part of Music in Our Schools Month in March. This is a national celebration that emphasizes how music is a vital part of every student's well-rounded education. We earned this recognition through our All-City Music Festival, which brought together over 115 4th and 5th grade core students and 76 band students from our 2 middle schools and 7 elementary schools. Our music teachers and students worked hard during 3 daytime rehearsals, and it all came together in an evening concert that was truly special. Seeing the students from across the district perform together, smiling, proud, and having fun was a moment we won't forget and a special memory they will always have. Thank you so much for supporting music education and helping making experiences like this possible for our students. Your continued belief in the value of the arts gives our students a chance to grow, connect, and shine in ways that go far beyond the classroom. We truly couldn't do it without your support.
Allison, if you can meet us up there too, so you can.
Okay.
I think, is that the last?
Yep.
That was a lot. All right, we're all gonna go outside real quick.
Well, let's do the middle school report
You wanna do the
first.
middle school report first? Sure.
Yeah, so that way they can leave after.
You got it.
All right, who do we have for giving the middle school report? All right, if you could just say your name and which school you represent.
Hi, I'm Carolina Colazzo, and I represent Kelly Middle School.
Okay,
I'm Logan Weber. I represent Teachers Memorial.
all right. Lena?
So for our Kelly Middle School updates, we have the track team updates. We already have several of our track athletes qualify for state competition. Track has meet today versus global, and the results are still pending. The Unified Sports update, we would still like to extend our congratulations to Andrew and Gio, who received their award today. And the end of the year testing is still underway. The SBAC testing was during the last week of April and the first week of May. IXL testing is still currently happening. The honor roll ceremony was held on May 7th, and we honored the 78 7th graders and 68 8th graders for their academic achievements. Sixth grade open house and spring market was held in May 7th, 8th. A few hundred people came out to hear about the transition to middle school and to take tours of our 6th grade wing. We also welcome many vendors from the community to set up booths and make connections with the families here at Kelly. And our last Cougar Pride Day of the year will be held tomorrow, May 14th. And for this occasion, we have invited coaches from Norwich Tech, NFA, Norwich Youth Lacrosse to host a clinic that let our students try out lacrosse. And we also have our spring band concert, which is in like 2 weeks at 6:30, May 29th. Kelly is also hosting an all-city arts shows that's starting next week with the evening event for families on May 21st, 5 p.m. till 6:30 p.m. And we also have these 8th grade events upcoming. The field trip to Ocean Beach would be on June 2nd, and we also have our 8th grade dance, which will be held on June 4th. Our theme is Hollywood, and our 8th grade student-led committee is very excited to be able to put on the event for our classmates. And we also have a promotion, which our ceremonies will be held on June 10th at 9 a.m. for Team B and 11 a.m. for Team A. Our Kelly Student Council will take a trip to Adventure Park in stores thanks to our PE teacher, Coach Tig, on June 4th. We will participate in rope courses and team building activities. The entire Kelly community is looking forward to Field Day on June 5th also. We will participate in outdoor activities including a student-led soccer tournament, an inflatable obstacle course, and more. And we also want to thank you guys, the Board of Ed members, for their service to the MPS community and particularly for your support of the Kelly Cougars during this year. You help make our school a better place to learn and grow.
Teachers, we have some updates. Athletic updates is the track team and unified sports are in full swing, and we have over 60 athletes participating. Our end of year tests are underway. SBAC was during the last week of April and first week of May. IXL testing is still happening. Sixth grade open house is for incoming sixth graders is going to be held on Monday, May 19th. And the spring band concert will be held on Thursday, May 29th, starting at 6 p.m. Attendance and attendance and incentives, we have over the Geography B Championship will take place on May 22nd, 9 a.m. in the auditorium. 8th grade events, we have a field trip going to Lake Compounds on Tuesday, May 27th. 8th grade dance Friday, May 30th from 5:30 to 7:30. And the promotion ceremony will be held on June 10th at 10 a.m. Teacher Memorial Field Day is scheduled during UA classes on June 3rd for a whole school event. We would also like to thank the Board of Ed members for their service to the MPS community and our school throughout the year.
Okay, while the award recipients just meet out in the hall, we'll take some pictures. Thank you. We'll be back in a few minutes. believe Joe signed up. All right, if you could come up, just give your name and address, please. Speak into the mic.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joseph DeLucia. I am the President Pro Tem of Norwich City Council. I am also the Chairman of the City Council Board of Ed Budget Ad Hoc Committee, and that is why I'm sitting before you tonight. But before I make my comments on the ad hoc, I would just like to say, Christine and I were talking about this right before the meeting. The construction fence is up at Stanton and will soon be up in Greenville. So cause to celebrate that finally, after all this time, we're actually putting shovels in the ground to start rebuilding this school system to what it really should be and what the residents and the children in this city deserve. I'm very happy to see that happen, as I'm sure all of you are. I would just like to speak briefly about the last ad hoc committee meeting. Not to get into the details, but just to echo some comments that I made from the chair about what is going on with the Norwich school system and Norwich Public Schools, particularly the administrative staff. I said, and I'll paraphrase myself, members of the committee, myself particularly, are extremely happy with the progress that has been made through the ad hoc committee. In particular, Norwich Public Schools administrative staff and the level of and the detail of information we get, the reports that we get, the presentations that we see. This is a quantum leap from where we began 6 years ago with the ad hoc committee. Some of the faces and names have changed, but the train hasn't stopped, and we keep moving forward. And it's a credit to Superintendent Lassard and her staff that we get that information. We are having informed conversations about the school budget. We are having informed and honest dialogue about what the real needs are for educating young people in this community and what the district needs to do that. And when we have that honest dialogue and we have that information that is unvarnished and unspun and just fact-based data, then we make the best decisions possible and the best recommendation possible to the full city council with the challenges that we see every single year with the budget. So again, I'm here only to applaud that progress and to thank all of you for the decisions that you have made that have put the right people in the right places so that as a team, the ad hoc committee can function as it was first envisioned and as it was designed and as it was essentially built from the ground up. I am short of any other word, really, just thrilled and honored to be that committee's chair. And I enjoy that work that we do, but the work is far more productive because of the growth that we've seen and the work that ad staff has done. And I felt that the entire board should hear somebody from the council say that to you. And with that, I will end my comments and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I just want to, normally I don't comment. I just want to make a quick comment. I know out in the hallway we're discussing New London's situation, which is fairly similar to ours. They're flat funding their budget also. However, both the Board of Ed and the council there are at loggerheads, and which was the situation about 6 years ago in this city. And I see the progress also on the ad hoc and how we're now a cooperative group. We're working under the auspices of getting the one city budget to the best it can be.
Yes, and just to piggyback on that, Mr. Chairman, everybody in this room knows that the board's request was a 4.98% increase. I don't like dealing in percentage increases, but we know that that was the case. And instead, Um, it's been proposed in the city manager's budget that you get a 1% increase. And that's a scary thing, right? But again, it goes to the credit of the superintendent that she and her staff are making 1% work. And obviously along with you, because the decisions on what gets funded and what doesn't really comes down to this board with her recommendation. But the fact that we're dealing honestly with that matter, that specific issue, all right, and the fact that Superintendent Lassard and her staff are making it work at 1%. It's unsustainable. We all know that. It is unsustainable to expect that a school system of this size and this magnitude can operate at 1% increase per year. Cannot be done, okay? But for this year, with the struggles we're having on the revenue side, the fact that you all suited up and got it done speaks volumes about this board, speaks volumes about, as I said, the superintendent and the staff. But again, it circles back to that honest dialogue of what can we all do to make it work this year so that we can have a future and talk about budgets in the future that don't start us in the negative, like was the case for many years, to your point. So, yes, this is painful, but the process is working, and that's what encourages me for the future. Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Is there anyone else who'd like to come up for public comment? Is there anyone else who would like to come up for public comment? And a final time, is there anyone else who'd like to come up for public comment? Hearing none, I now declare public comment closed. Next order of business is the report of the chair. Welcome everyone. I hope you've been enjoying this stretch of warm and sunny spring weather with flowers in bloom and quickly growing green grass. The next few days will be rainy and unsettled again. Hopefully the cloud cover will break enough for you to enjoy the full flower moon this evening. Today is National Apple Pie Day and National Frog Jumping Day. The apple pie dates back to Old England with the earliest printed recipe from 1381. The apple originated in Central Asia and has been cultivated there for thousands of years. It is purportedly the fruit used by Eve to tempt Adam in the Bible, which resulted in their expulsion from Eden and started the reign of man on earth. Apples must be grown by grafting cuttings onto rootstock, as the individual seeds from one apple have different genetic sequences and characteristics from the parent tree and from other apples on that tree. There are more than 7,500 different varieties of apples grown in the world. Frog jumping contests have been in vogue for almost 200 years. Mark Twain's first story was the celebrated jumping frog of Calaveras County, located in California, published in 1865. The current frog jumping record was set in 1986 by Rosie the Riveter, who jumped 21 feet 5 3/4 inches. By comparison, the world long jump record for a human is 29 feet 4 1/4 inches, set in 1991 by Mike Powell. Notable birthdays today are the boxer Joe Louis, actors B. Arthur and Harvey Keitel, and the singers Richie Valens, Stevie Wonder, and Darius Rucker. Today also marks the founding of the British colony at Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. although St. Augustine, Florida remains the oldest colony founded in the USA in 1565 by the Spanish. Of course, Native Americans have occupied the land for thousands of years before that. Today is also the anniversary of the declaration of war and the start of the Mexican-American War. It also marks the first trademark of the material we now know as Velcro. Last night, I attended the last of the public hearings on the budget in the City Council chambers. Most speakers were for lowering taxes, but also wanted services not to be reduced. Unfortunately, cost and wages continue to rise, so keeping revenue static will result in a loss of services. It's unrealistic to expect the same level of service at a higher yearly cost without being willing to pay for it. Being that education makes up 2/3 of city property taxes, any reduction in revenues will directly fall hardest upon our schools. Since Norwich must pay tuition for its high school students, and those costs have risen about 3% and must be paid and are out of control of the board, then the entire burden of lower revenue falls directly upon our pre-K through 8 students. Certain minimum obligations must be met even if we reduce staffing, after-school activities, and allocations for supplies. We will most likely be running a deficit budget unless we get a significant boost in revenue from the state legislature to make up for the local lack of tax revenues. This bill would come due in August of 2026, and losses would be made up from the city's rainy day fund. This only forestalls the inevitable. While no one likes an increase in taxes, and hard choices have to be made, placing the fiscal burdens on our schools and affecting the well-being of our youngest citizens, with the result of a possible worse tax burden next year to make up for a likely huge deficit in the 2025-26 school year. I'm giving ample warning to parents and citizens to not expect much help from your public school system, as we will most likely be underfunded next year. These are the realities we're facing. On to better news. As Joe said, construction will be happening very soon at the Stanton School, as fencing and construction equipment is already being moved to the site. The current school will continue to be occupied while the new school is constructed next door. We will have a public groundbreaking ceremony for students, staff, and officials in early June. The new school should be ready by August of 2026, with demolition of the old school and preparation of the grounds to continue after that. The Greenville School construction will start about 1 month later, with an expected opening of January 2027. This is a more challenging site, requiring extensive rock work and retaining walls before the foundations are laid. We will be searching for a new name for the school to honor a local community resident into the future. We have several school events to plan for. All of the events are free and open to all members of the public. Please come and support our students, whether or not you've been in our schools just yesterday or 50 or more years ago. The Norwich Transition Academy will be holding an open house at 12 K Street on this Thursday, May 15th, from 5 to 7 p.m. There will also be concert events at Uncas tomorrow at 5 o'clock, at Stanton on Thursday at 6:30, Moriarty on Thursday, May 22nd at 5:30, Waquanic on Tuesday, June 3rd at 5:45. Teachers Global will be holding an open house on Monday, May 19th for the incoming sixth graders on May 19th from 5:30 to 7. As reported, there are also events, spring concerts at Kelly and at Global, both on May 29th. And then there's the geographic competition on May 22nd at Global. The annual Norwich Public School All-City Art Show will be held on Wednesday, May 21st from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at the Kelly Gym, displaying artwork from all schools and all grades. This is usually one of the most well-attended events in our district. The talent on display is just amazing, and I can't get over the quality and variety of the works on display each year in every media imaginable, excepting live performance art. The schedule of June graduation events and promotion ceremonies is available on the NPS website and as an attachment to tonight's meeting agenda under the superintendent's report. Those are open to students and parents and staff of the particular schools involved. So we have Norwich Transition Academy June 6th, which will be at 10 a.m. here at the Kelly Common Room. On June 9th, we have the global promotions, the global graduation at 10 a.m. That'll be, I believe, at the gym here?
The auditorium.
Auditorium, the Kelly Auditorium. And then the Mahan promotion ceremony will also be June 9th at 1:30. On June 10th, Kelly graduation will be in the auditorium. We have two. The Kelly A will be at 9 o'clock and the Kelly B at 11. Also, the promotion ceremonies for Vets and Waquanic will be also on June 10th. Vets, it'll be at 10 a.m. and Waquanic at 1:30. On June 11th, we have the rest of our elementaries with their promotion ceremonies. Moriarty and Stanton will be at 9:30 in the morning. Huntington and Uncas will be at 10 in the morning. NFA will be holding their graduation ceremonies on June 11th at 4 o'clock. And the final graduation will be the adult ed ceremonies here at the Kelly Auditorium on June 17th at 5:30 p.m. Also, NPS will be participating in the Memorial Day Parade on Monday, May 26th, which starts at 12 noon at St. Patrick's Cathedral and moves down Broadway to a ceremony at Chelsea Parade Green. There'll also be a Juneteenth event on Saturday, June 7th from 12 to 2 at Kelly. That'll be held outside. Unless it's raining, then it'll be moved inside. And that concludes my report.
Just a question, Mark, I just wanna make sure I have the date right. For veterans, you said June 10th, and on here it says June 11th, so I just wanna make sure.
Maybe they did change it then. I think it was originally.
Change it to June 10th.
It's-
Oh, okay.
And you said Moriarty was 9:30.
So 10 is the correct day.
Thank you. Happy I asked.
Well, the same thing, Moriarty, here it says 10 a.m., you said 9:30 a.m.
That's the right one.
10 a.m.? Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, some of those I was going off the calendar, but you know, from the pre-printed calendar to this.
I just wanna make sure. So that's one of my schools.
What was that?
Dr. Favello just said Moriarty is 9:30.
What's on the sheet?
It's on the calendar right now. All right, we'll have to.
That's what's on the calendar.
Okay.
So I guess the calendar time is correct, the 9:30.
10 and 9:30, just those two changes as far as,
Yeah, I would always check with the school first to make sure, give the office a call to verify those dates and times.
website.
Okay, that concludes my report and the report of the superintendent.
Right, the first, I'm gonna talk again, unfortunately, 2 more times. But but for good reason. So I have two people that I'd like to introduce to everybody. The first one is our new principal. If Carolina, and she's known as MK, Mrs. MK, could come up first. My former partner, and I know her husband's here. He's right over there. Dear Norwich Public School, this is the letter that I sent to everyone. I'm excited to share important news regarding the leadership at John B. Stanton Elementary School after a thorough and thoughtful selection process, which included interviews with a highly qualified group of candidates. It is my great pleasure to announce that Carolina MK has been appointed as the new principal effective immediately. Throughout both the interview process and her time as acting principal, Mrs. MK has consistently demonstrated exceptional leadership, a deep commitment to our students and staff, and a clear vision for the continued success of our school community. During her tenure as acting principal, she's already made a profound impact, and we are confident that her official appointment will provide the stability and guidance necessary to further cultivate an environment of academic excellence and student well-being. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the interview committee for their time and effort throughout the process, and to all of you who have supported our school during this important transition. We are excited to continue moving forward under Mrs. MK's leadership and are eager to see our students thrive in the years ahead. Just want to let everybody know that this is really important to me because Caroline and I work so closely together, and to the point where we actually just merged our offices together, so we're together. So I'm so excited for you.
Easier than me.
This is for you.
Thank you.
You really had it before, and I made you bring it back in.
I tossed out the box.
Did you want to say anything? I'm bad at this. Did you want to say anything at all?
Sure, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for allowing me to continue to serve the wonderful students, staff, and families at Stanton School. It's a wonderful place to be. We're really excited with all things that are happening on campus right now, and I love doing my job, and it's all worth it for the kids and the families that I serve. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Amy Edwards, come on up. Amy is our new assistant principal at Stanton Elementary. So my letter is, I'm excited to announce Amy Edwards as the next assistant principal of John B. Stanton Elementary. She'll start July 1. Amy will be partnering with Principal Mrs. MK in leading a vibrant and inclusive school community. She is especially excited to return to Stanton, where she previously supported students as a literacy interventionist across grades K through 5 and provided professional development to staff in literacy instruction. Chosen from a strong pool of applicants, Amy was selected by the committee for her dedication to student success and her proven leadership in literacy and instructional support. She currently serves as the instructional coach and brings 15 years of experience in education. She does her instructional coaching and social studies at both middle schools right now. Her leadership expertise spans curriculum, instruction, assessment, instructional coaching, and school improvement. She is deeply committed to fostering student growth and achievement in an environment where all learners feel supported, valued, and challenged to reach their full potential. Amy's strengths in relationship building, collaboration with staff, families, and the broader community will continue to guide her leadership. She holds a master's degree in teaching and learning and is a certified reading specialist with a strong passion for literacy education. In 2019, she earned her 6-year diploma in educational administration from the University of Connecticut. Amy is looking forward to working alongside Stanton staff, students, and families to foster a positive, engaging, and supportive learning environment for all. And a cool fact is that Amy runs marathons, and she's super awesome. And her mom and her husband are here as well. So, give a clap for me to thank you. If it didn't come in time, we will get it over to you as soon as it comes in.
Thank you.
Do you want to say anything, Amy?
Thank you all for this opportunity. I'm excited to serve in this role and return to Stanton, like you mentioned, and to serve the community and staff and students there. I'm really excited. Thank you.
Excited.
Thank you.
We'll be sure to send the Mahan Lion over to you to help you in your marathon.
Okay. All right, a few things. Like our chairman said, the Stanton School groundbreaking ceremony is coming up. We went back and forth with dates because we wanted to make sure that Senator Austin and Representative Wilson could be there for this important event since they had so much to do with it. It will be June 10th at 1:30. Mrs. MK has been working. We've been in a planning stage for all this, and we'll continue to do that, working up to it. But the students are gonna be the focus of this groundbreaking event. They're gonna be putting the shovels in the ground. I believe there's gonna be singing, I think, Mrs. MK, there's gonna be some celebrations, so we'll have the Carolina's not singing, it'll be the kids, so. So we'll have more on that as soon as we get all the, you guys will, everyone will, the board, the city council, the Board of Education will all get, invitations, okay?
June 10th.
June 10th at 1:30.
Oh, that's iconic.
We don't have any
graduation.
Yes,
graduations?
but we had to
Okay.
work around Senator Austin, so it was tough to find a time and date that she could make it.
That's after the graduations at Kelly
Okay.
All right.
and veterans. Oh my God, I'm just like.
There's a lot going on.
One or the other.
Hampton Round, what do you think?
All right, I want to give everyone a transportation update. I think we've been talking a lot about how we can save in transportation costs because the amount is $10.8 million. We've been looking to save that. We found some savings in this year and into next year. We also we're doing opt-in forms for all of our pre-K to 8 and then also with NFA. NFA has distributed a second round of opt-in forms for the 25-26 school year. There were 296 parents who did not respond to the initial mailing, and we're hopeful that the second round will yield a stronger response, and that we should see savings in that. NPS will also be sending out a second round of forms. NPS, as many families have yet to reply, and the administrative team continues to work diligently to identify cost-effective savings for the upcoming school year. So I really appreciate all the principals or administrators that have been outside and counted how many kids are going on the bus, just so we could be sure that the run sheet matches how many kids, and we can eliminate busing and maybe hours by doing this. So thank you for all of our administrators for doing that. Budget update, Bob is on vacation. I know that we did have, last Monday, there was a city council meeting, and there was a resolution to go from 1% and to be flat funded. And I, along with other board members, spoke at that meeting, and then they wound up withdrawing that resolution. We met, as you heard from Joe, that we met for the ad hoc meeting. It went exceptionally well. We're looking forward to the second one, and we're hopefully gonna have some more information to give at that meeting. We're meeting with First Student Thursday to see if we can find some savings there. And then we'll be able to report back at the ad hoc meeting what additional savings that we can find. Preschool update. We have exciting, I think it's exciting for Corey Beckwith that we're finally have a date for the NIAC accreditation. So we've been notified that our 15-day window is May 26th to June 13th. And next we will be informed of our 24-hour window prior to that visit. And I let everybody know that Corey Beckwith, along with her preschool team, has been working hard. I want to say the entire school year getting ready for this visit. So there's a lot of work. I think last time I shared that Jamie and I had gone into classrooms and we had our checklist to see what needed to be changed, what was working well in those classrooms, so that we could give feedback so the teachers could be ready for this.
I can almost guarantee it's gonna be June 10th, the busiest day of our calendar.
It might be. The NIAC parent survey has gone out, and we're asking for parental feedback on the program so we can develop and improve to be the best preschool program around. To date, 27% of families have completed their surveys. Preschool screenings have taken place on May 1st and May 8th. We have one more screening date on May 15th. So far, we have screened 23 children for preschool and have 6 more to screen on May 15th. Families have requested early kindergarten for 34 Norwich children. We are completing the final steps of the process and will notify families by the end of May. Preschool's last professional development of the school year will focus on implementing trauma-informed practices in the classroom. So thanks, Corey, and your team for all the work you've done with that. I want to mention that our youth and family summer camp donation Cactus Jack Foundation, Mike Bassetto, if anybody knows him, he owns Philomena's in Waterford. He's very generous to the communities around us. And has a lot to do with Cactus Jack Foundation. And he was able to give us a check for $1,200 to go towards students to go to camp right here in the youth. So we've been working with the youth and family here. And we've identified through our social workers in their schools for working families that need these camps. And he generously gave us $1,200 to go towards our families so that they can attend camps. So, and that's something that he's doing, not just here in Norwich, but it's Waterford, East Lyme, it's many places as they can get to make sure that kids get to go to camps their parents need to work. So, a volunteer update, I think we have we have 154 total volunteers, up from last month of 129. So we're super excited about all the volunteers in our schools. It really is amazing. Elizabeth Brooks has done a nice job getting these volunteers in the schools. Certified staff vacancies, we have science, it's the same as it's been, science, math, science, and some special education teachers. I will say that even though there's staff vacancies right now, we have already filled these vacancies for next year. So we're super excited about the retention for this year. We are right now looking at, really, I think we just have one more special education teacher to hire, and we're all set for next year. So that's great news. And that,
We've ever been in this position.
yeah, we're pretty excited
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
been a while, that's for sure.
And that concludes my
This
report.
hiring committee's all summer, you get to
The what,
do
Greg?
work. Without all the hiring committees during the summer, you get to do work.
Oh, yeah.
Report of the acting assistant superintendent, Jay.
Okay. We have a lot of great things happening in our district. Just listening to the awards tonight and a lot of the celebrations that have been happening lately. And I just want to take a moment to recognize that, because I think we all know that that's what we're capable of, continuing to do amazing things. So in your board reports, just to kind of recap some of the highlights that people across the district provide to us. Assessments are underway, end of the year. I know that it's an important time, but teachers look forward to that being finished so that we can get on with the other business of education. We are having makeups being conducted right now for those students that are absent. And as we move along, that data that we pull from those assessment reports will be helping us to revise curriculum over the summer. As you know, we've committed to having that be an ongoing task. And I know that the different groups for the content areas are looking forward to having that happen again this summer. Lots of collaboration is happening with our content areas. We have elementary math is being integrated with science through lots of hands-on projects. Happy to report that 13 of our 8th graders that are taking Algebra 1 will earn that credit and move on to high school geometry in their freshman year. As you know, we have those 8th graders not only taking algebra, but they are engaging in 8th grade math, which we know is important as they obtain those critical skills that really do help them at the high school level and beyond. So I think we have a good system there with that, offering the Algebra 1 to our 8th graders. Social studies highlights include student successes in geography competitions and educational trips to the Seek Art Gallery. As you heard from a couple of reports here, we're in full swing with concert season. There are several concerts that are happening that will be able to enjoy as we end the year. And students are showcasing their vibrant Mexican-inspired artwork at a Cinco de Mayo event that's local. And I also want to add that for the first Friday walk, June 2nd through 5th, down in the city of Norwich, we have been invited to have our student artwork be showcased as part of the mural walk that's happening downtown. So that's pretty exciting. And I think, moving right from that art show that we're having soon, some of those exhibits will be sent down to the city level for our community to enjoy beyond the greater school community. Our library programs continue to blend STEM and literacy, and planetarium visits that are tied to curriculum themes are continuing to occur. For our MLL report, we currently have 810 active multilingual learner students in our district, and I just was thinking about how, several years ago, I think, when I used to think about our special education population and our MLL, like the MLL population has just grown tremendously since I was first in central office administration. We do have 70 monitored students across the schools, and that means that they have performed where they've exited technical services, but we continue to kind of watch out and see how they're doing. We do have 89, which is record-breaking exits from the program this year, which is really incredible. And then also always in our charge is academic performance, and we've had the improvements with the Dibble score rise from 37% to 42% that are near benchmark or on benchmark, with notable gains in second, third, and fifth grades. So closing that achievement gap is, well underway. For adult ed, we have 500 learners on track to surpass its measurable skill gains goals this year. We have the English speakers of other languages classes that are concluding soon, with expanded offerings planned for the fall, which we know has been an emphasis in our program at adult ed. Alongside of that is the return for that Bridge to CNA program that has been so successful, and I think you've heard about, as well as citizen preparation courses. We have the graduation to be set for June 17th, and the credit diploma program is preparing for its 2025 ceremony, spotlighting student speakers and several award nominees. Our off-site programs at Lebanon Pines and Stonington are continuing to grow, and the staff that are part of those programs are dedicated to continuous improvement in that area. And as you know, attendance is always on our minds with trying to close that chronic absenteeism gap, and we have some really remarkable results. I mean, you've heard me talk about Waquanic and Uncas and how well they've been doing, but I need to talk a little bit about Teachers Memorial. They have their fun initiatives that you might have heard of with the Panther Cart and the jamming tardy tank, which I look forward to hearing what that's all about. Where student morale and attendance is definitely improving, with the average daily attendance being held at 95% for multiple days. And when we compare that data to this time last year, we have 60 fewer students that are on that chronic absenteeism list. So there's a lot of work being done in that regard. So I think, I want to thank Patrice and the work with all the principals that they're doing with their attendance coordinators on that. For the extended learning department, they've been undergoing what they call the assessment practices tool analysis. And it's a pretty lofty set of expectations that we have to look at, components that we have for our extended learning programs, with the purpose of making improvements. So how's our transition time? How are we greeting our students and interacting with them in a positive way? So there'll be more on that with the extended learning team and how we're using those results to make improvements for our after-school program. We've had some recognition with networking events with our extended learning program with our partnerships that we have with our vendors. So Project Oceanology and Blooming into Greatness, which kind of spearheaded you've seen our STEP programs that have happened at some of our community events. They help spearhead that and have that grow into extended learning opportunities. And then we have Big Brothers and Big Sisters, which we started partnering with them with a mentorship program at Stanton. And we're happy to have that continue through grant funding through the Connecticut Foundation of Eastern Connecticut. So that's also great. And I know that Bob wasn't here and he usually reports on athletics, but athletics has also come under our umbrella with all of our after-school offerings. There has been a major facilities announcement for, after, on April 25th, where local officials unveiled plans for Fontaine Field, installing a new turf field and a 4-lane track. So that's going to be great. Will elevate not only, community access, but also, that our middle schools use that for several types of activities. So that'll be a great, but we are going to have to take that offline for a little bit. So that's my report. Any questions? Sure.
MLL partnership with, is it called Waterford Upstart?
Yep. It's a program that that came in, and it, it's made available to families. So I'm sure that there's a communication effort that's done by Luz and her department, to communicate with families of what's available for them. So, yeah.
Good to see that.
Yep. We do. We have lots of resources that are real for families.
And MLL works with the lead group too, right?
Mm-hmm.
For,
Yep.
I know they offer English language classes, and they also offer, if you're an English speaker, they offer classes in Spanish too, if you want to learn Spanish.
Lisa, I know you said that we had 13 that passed the Algebra 1. How many in 8th grade are enrolled in that program?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Or like a percent, is that like 100%, 50%?
Right. I'll get that information for you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Like moving forward to NFA, where we're at.
My hope is 100%. That's the way it should be. But.
99.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Concludes your report, Jamie?
Yep.
Okay, on to Lisa for her report.
Good evening. So I wanted to bring your attention first to the school health report, which I usually forget. And I wanted to just give a shout out to our nursing supervisor, Laura Dietrich, and all of the school nurses. I was at Huntington today visiting and chatting it up with our school nurses, and really, asking about how the end of the year was going. And it's all of the school nurse offices are very busy all year long, and particularly going into the end of the school year and field trip season and all of those fun things that happen in the schools. So I wanted to give a special shout out to our school nurses. And there are events that Laura had indicated in her school health report. As a reminder, we do have our Norwich Transition Academy open house this Thursday from 5 until 7 for current and prospective students. We're excited about that event this week. And so in my report, I also review the monthly out-of-district placements. We did have 3 students that moved into district already outplaced. So you'll see just a little bit of a rise in our outplacements. However, we are working diligently on that, as you know. I wanted also to thank the whole school community and our overall Norwich community for the wonderful 8th annual Autism Wellness and Resource Fair. It was really very well attended. We had over 30 vendors come out for our families in a variety of categories, and it was really wonderful to see the long list of volunteers, teachers and administrators and members of the board who came out, our families, and we had a lot of positive feedback from our Parents with a Purpose group and a lot of really nice comments from our vendors as well. And I really would like to thank everyone who participated and volunteered for such a successful event. It's really such a heartwarming event, actually, to see our families come together. I included some pictures from that event. You'll see a really amazing art project that was done, which was a cardboard city that our art teacher, Ashlyn Davis, had developed. And you can see her in the pictures along with Maddie Delicio, our speech language coordinator. And they were really working in the corner and doing some really nice work with that, as well as all of the other activities that evening. I really also enjoyed seeing the work samples from our middle school students using the unique learning system, which is such a high quality program, and we're working on that in elementary and middle school. So you can see some pictures of that as well. And they were working on ecology and that type of theme. I wanted to give you also a update on special programming. As you know, we have been working with the ad hoc committee, and part of that conversation, our last meeting was about special programs and a new initiative that we do have that we're working on. But first, I wanted to give a special thank you to the Rose City team. We started that program this year with 2 students. We are ending this school year with 2 sections of elementary, with the plan to expand to 2 middle school sections to have a full program next school year. So we really owe it to that Rose City team, that special team led by Joshua Vanoski. Also our out-of-district liaisons who are assisting in finding those students who are ready to come back to district and how best to support them. Our assistant director, Beth Hanlon, who's here. They all are working tirelessly to try to get our students back to district in a meaningful and thoughtful way. So I'm really thankful for that whole team. It really has grown the Rose City program tremendously from what it was at the beginning of the school year, and we have only more to go, so it's exciting. Part of that conversation at Ad Hoc was about a special program that we are going to be launching next year called, well, for now it's a working title, it's a Rose City School Resilience Program. We have learned that, of course, after COVID, especially that there are many students who have had school attendance issues, and this is a statewide, nationwide problem, not just here in Norwich, but we have students that are in out placements that are not attending those placements. So our thought is to bring them back and to develop a program that would run out of Rose City. And, starting with a small, start small and go big is our theme, I think. Starting small with a little group of 5 students and working on building their stamina for school, working on credit recovery, and getting them on a better path for success. So that is our work moving forward, in addition to continuing to grow our Rose City program. As you know, VLA has moved over to Rose City, so we really see that as a really comprehensive program that's not only therapeutic in nature, but is meeting the needs of many of our challenges that we have in our community and with our students, and getting them the supports and resources that they need. So that is coming, and we're really excited about that, and we will have some more information as that develops. And we continue again to analyze our out-of-district placements. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. It's an exciting time to be in Norwich Public Schools, I think.
Lisa, exactly how many students do we have at Rose City right now?
So we have 9 currently, and our thought process would be we kind of look at 6 in each class. So, I do anticipate that we will have full classes in elementary. We are already working on those lists right now. PPT meetings are held, we have to have that process. And, we do anticipate full sections, but it is a work in progress. We will have 4 sections, 2 elementary and 2 middle school for next school year.
So for the high school students that you just mentioned, will these be referred to us from like NFA or like any high school?
So right now we're looking at students we have placed in special programs who are not attending out of Norwich. So in our therapeutic programs, students who have social emotional needs, high anxiety, that was exacerbated after and during COVID, and it has continued for many of our students. And so it's looking at that population of students to determine how we can best meet their needs in district. Again, our philosophy being that it's so much better in our community than sending them other places. And now that we have a space and the opportunity to do so, it makes sense to really start thinking about creative ways to make that happen. Yes. Oop.
Just, this is kind of off on a tangent, but do the staff receive PMT, physical management training?
Fiscal.
Physical management.
So, right, we have moved to something called safety care de-escalation curriculum, and that's aligned to what the out-of-district therapeutic schools do. And that's a great question because it reminds me that we have our early release date, and tomorrow the Rose City team is getting trained on the advanced module in safety care, which helps with students that may be larger students or more involved students. So, we're really proud of that rollout as well, of having safety care and aligning that to what area therapeutic schools are doing. In fact, we were just at Learn Ocean Avenue last week, meeting with them and touring their facility, and they also use safety care. So it makes sense because when we're looking for students to come back to district, they're already involved in that kind of de-escalation. They're aware of that. In addition to great high quality curriculum as well. The academic office has helped us with that. So it makes the transition a lot easier.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Question on high school students and resilience program.
Yes.
Accumulate credits to graduate.
Correct. So we're looking for work through the Apex Learning platform, which is credit bearing, and students can earn credits. We're working on kind of the ins and outs of that right now. But in addition to high school age students, we do have middle school students that are currently in district, a couple of them, maybe 2 to 3, that would benefit from additional supports like we're talking about in this resilience program. We do anticipate a model that would include a social worker and additional emotional supports to get students and the assistants to get to school, working with families, providing resources to families, and yes, credit bearing.
Where would that high school student receive a diploma?
So those are the things that we're talking about now, but we do have a plan for that. And I'm looking forward to giving you those details when we have them all nailed out.
That may be on like an extended timeline, possibly even into if they attend the NTA also.
Well, there are some students that would be eligible, of course, to work with us in the Transition Academy, and that would be on an individualized basis as to what their needs are. And then there are some students who are very capable, but they have other barriers that are disability related, emotional disability, anxiety, and those types of things. And so again, kind of thinking about that therapeutic lens, this kind of program could help us answer some of those challenges for students, and also the whole picture of helping the family with the resources they may need as well to help their child.
So that social anxiety is sort of like extreme agoraphobia.
Well, yeah, that's one way to look at it for sure. And it's, really providing those supports in a very controlled way.
Good stuff. Keep coming up with more ideas.
Curious about the student who's attending a Bridgeport public school. Are we transporting them to Bridgeport every day, or is that like a dual household situation?
I'd have to look at that specifically, and I can get back to you on that for sure. That may be a situation that we're involved in like a 603, for example, or something like that, but I can get specific information for you.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, can you just explain that a little bit? So it's a student who's a resident of Bridgeport?
Of course, I don't have that in front of me.
They're registered with Norwich Public
I
School.
mean, I can speak to like
Currently attending.
what I know, what used to be the case. Sometimes students are placed in a facility that is in that area. Yeah. And they would attend the school or some related school program that's connected to that area, but yet they are our financial responsibility. So we're not necessarily always transporting those kids across the state,
Right.
but we're responsible for them financially because of
nexus situations. That's my experience. I can't speak individually to that particular case, but just from experience, that's what it usually is.
And overseeing the IEP supports, but I will get specific information about that and let the board know.
That's very interesting.
So it's sort of like YFS assigns us that student for fiscal responsibility.
That could be one scenario.
There are various ways.
There are other ways too. They might,
So
the student might be incarcerated and, like where they end up coming back to us as our financial responsibility and decision-making. But there are multiple reasons why that
No,
might happen.
how old is this student?
No, we can't really.
Not even
Specifics.
Not even age?
No,
No.
but I will make sure that I will send you some information around that regarding that situation to the best of what I can share with you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
You're welcome.
We may have to go into an executive session to get further details on that.
Yes.
Because they can't be released publicly.
Correct.
Oh, I understand that, for ages.
Well, even that, if
Whatever,
it,
I understand.
because it's one student, I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, out of how many?
Right.
Whatever. Let's onward.
All right, I just have a quick question with Sarah. When is the TAFL walk gonna happen for Waquanic? Oh, jeez.
Is it after graduation or
gotta be
before?
kidding me.
Before graduation.
Okay.
I'm not.
What is that? I haven't heard about this before.
It's a tradition, every year Passville does a walk around the block, so to say, and the families come out of the old mill houses and they wave and they, congratulations, and everybody in the school does it.
That's so
Yeah, it's a lot
cool.
of fun,
How long has that been going on?
since the school was built. They also bring a
Are you
lady down.
serious?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It's at least 50 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I've never heard of that. That's wonderful. Wow, that's really cool.
I know that was started by Principal Wojcik years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, I figures it'd be him that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Not asking you a question.
Yeah.
That is a great idea. We should have that at Bishop. I went.
All right, oh, yeah, okay, report of the business administrator.
Okay, Bob's on vacation. You can all read his report, but what I just wanted to point out was that this year-end forecast, the year-end forecast prepared at the end of February indicated that the district would be at end of the year with a budget deficit in the range of break even to $400,000. This is not the first time you've heard this. After reviewing April expenses, we feel the estimate is still valid. Currently, however, the estimate is trending towards the break-even side of the estimate. So we do have the critical budget areas that will affect the final year, and they're all the same thing that we always talked about: the special education excess cost, pre-K operating deficit, Medicaid reimbursement, and then the heating and the variables around that. But Bob and I are feeling more confident. We hate to say that out loud,
I know.
because then some emergency would happen. But I can tell you that we did put that budget freeze in November, and that helped. I want to thank the administrators for all their hard work, making sure that that happened. But I think that if you look at the cost of the investigation, the entire cost just this year was about $700,000. So the fact that we could break even with all the hard work that the administrators have done is, it wasn't easy to do. Let me just put it that way. That was a lot of hard work by all of us. There were some people that had to do double jobs at time. We didn't fill certain positions because we knew that investigation was going to take a toll on the budget this year. So I'm really proud of the team on how we're able to do that. So let's hope that that's the next month when we come. Let's hope that we have some really good news around that.
I just want to say that thank God the new Pope, Cardinal Bob, decided to change his name to Leo, because if he was Pope Bob, Bob would have been insufferable. Our Bob would have been insufferable.
It's Leo now.
Okay, policy.
Yes, and this will also, be part of the board, committee report as well. The policy committee, we met.
Well, actually, it's the new,
Yeah, yep, going through all the thing. I might as well just combine it with my committee report as well. That way I don't, just to save some time. So we met last month on April 22nd. We have 9 policies presented to the board tonight for our first read, and then we'll vote on it for the next board meeting. So just briefly, just gonna go over each one, starting with the visitors and observations in the schools. Essentially, what that is it requires all visitors to comply with board safety protocols and direct federal immigration agents if they were to come to our city to designated administrators. There's added language around conduct expectations and clarifies penalties for public violations. And this goes for everyone, not just the federal agents. The next one regarding school security and
Can I
safety.
ask before you move on from that policy, can I ask why
Yes.
the policy committee included that? Because we do have another policy that actually has some of that language incorporated that we passed earlier.
Uh,
Which one did we pass earlier for that?
I don't know what's it called, the welcoming and the one around the
ISIS being able to come
yeah, I'm
in.
trying to.
I think that's more ISIS coming in than visitors, I think.
Right.
Maybe that wasn't a policy, that was a
A mandate.
internal,
Yeah.
internal
Okay.
document.
Yeah.
Giving, talking about what to do should ICE ever show up. That was an
Okay.
internal document where that we would have an administrator that was in charge and that they would call an SRO officer.
Okay, but it did come before us and we had voted on it. Yes.
It was a policy.
It was a policy.
Shipment and Goodman.
It was a shipment, yeah.
There are some redundancies
Yeah,
between these
yeah,
two.
because I took a lot of
I
heat.
think
redundancies
the
in this.
Connecticut
Yeah.
State Department of Education actually put out some directives on how to handle visitors, including the language for federal officers. So I think we're following their
Yeah,
directives.
so we incorporate some of those language into that as well.
But there is redundancy and they're gonna see that as we go through the
Okay.
school climate, some redundancies in that as well.
Thank you.
So that first policy is just broad, for visitors, family members, friends, whoever comes to the school district, they have to follow school protocols. The second policy, again, is the school security and safety. Essentially that it adopts protocols for interacting with federal immigration authorities. It mandates designated staff to manage interactions and consult legal guidance. It also clarifies submission and confidentiality requirements under state law. Essentially, that is so every year the Board of Education will have to submit to the state every year school security plans and safety plans to the Department of Emergency Services and Public Services. So every year we have to submit that.
Yeah, the school safety review, which has been done, and it goes through all the department heads and goes to the police chief and the fire chief, and I signed off on it, and Susan, so everybody signs off. It was quite a thick document, actually, because there's individual portions mentioning each school.
Okay. Third policy is regarding naming and renaming of school facilities. This is a new policy in general. Essentially, that establishes a structured process for naming or renaming any school facilities, playgrounds, cafeterias, gyms, etc., with emphasis on community input and diversity. The green highlights that you see introduce clear eligibility requirements, such as honorees that must be retired or has passed away from whatever public career they have done. And with this, there will be a committee, a renaming committee that will comprise of the principal, members of the community, of course the chairperson they'll come together to vet through proposals of names of facilities within our district, and from there it will be sent to the Board of Education for final approval. And Sheila Hayes was, brought about a proposed name for when the new school for the Greenville site is up and running. She did put forward a name. Again, the subcommittee will have to review this name, but Sheila Hayes proposed Virginia D. Christian, who was the first Black woman to serve on the Norwich City Council in 1965, and is the first Black person in general for the New London County area. So something like this, the subcommittee will review among other proposals brought forth by the committee or brought forth by the community, and see if it's appropriate for a district, and then the board will vote on it accordingly.
There's a whole process.
And yeah, and there's the whole process.
Regardless if there's a name out there right now, that doesn't, we haven't adopted the policy yet.
Yep.
Policy's not
It will
adopted.
have to be resubmitted.
Procedure's not adopted, so.
Right. The policy just sets up the process. It doesn't actually
Right.
name the person.
Yep. And let me just pull up the, and if you look at that third policy where it says, in addition to school buildings, this policy applies to all of that. So I took the liberty to write all of that and submit it for everyone here to, review and see it, what that process will be like going forward, and what's to be expected. So that's that for that policy. Okay. The fourth one, sex discrimination and sexual harassment in the workforce. Essentially,
This is just reverting back to the old version, which is a portion that's based on biological sex rather than than including gender identity. That's one of the reasons that we went back from 2024 to the 2020 policy.
yep. And then, of course, it strengthens Title IX and Title VII compliances. Any questions regarding that?
Can you just, I'm sorry, Susan, can you repeat what you just said?
Yes, it's enforced based on biological sex rather than including gender identity when we revert back to the 2020 policy.
So it's based on the changes the new administration made to federal law.
Goodness, thank you.
Okay. What was the next one? The school climate. Comprehensive framework supporting school climate reform across schools by July 2025. The green highlights that you see, it includes the formation of the diverse climate committees, surveys, improvement plans, restorative practices training, and formal accountability.
This really just puts us back at the school level instead of the district level, so we really don't have a lot of work to do with this because it already is at the school level, the school climate. So Jamie, myself, and Lisa will meet. We talked about this today, but we have to just make sure that there's a union member on that committee, and we'll make sure for the following year that we have all of the everything checked off that's in this policy, and it comes directly from the State Department of Education. It talks just a lot about making sure we have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and when I listened to, we had a superintendent meeting about this, and we just have to make sure we don't have to rewrite a lot. We can actually just put the links in to what are already existing tier 1, tier 2, 3. We can just put that in the document, so we don't have to create a whole new form, but we're in really good shape with what we're doing right now.
And do we currently have a school climate coordinator?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Dr. Lisa Hughes.
Here I am.
Here she is.
So that's a tag on. I just
wanna make sure that this new policy was not gonna add another position to.
No. Well, we give everything to Lisa. When something comes in, I just name Dr. Hughes.
Thank you, Dr. Hughes.
Happy to help.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, next one. Bullying prevention and intervention. So in essence, it reinforces bullying response measures through enhanced safe school climate plans, parental notifications, school accountability requirements. It adds mandated training, access to rights.
Are you doing 8.6?
That's a
Because this is a
Is this
deletion, I think,
51?
because it'd be redundant.
It is, so
with the
they're
school climate
deleting it.
policy. The school climate policies are replacing the bullying policies that used to be mandated before
Yeah.
2025.
Now that's all combined in
Yeah.
the school
Kevin,
climate.
5131.08 is up.
It's gonna be for deletion,
Oh, yes, for deletion, missed that part.
and that's based on the law change.
Yes.
All right, new policy, the restorative policy. So what that is,
This is another redundant because there's a lot of this in the school climate,
Yes.
so
uh,
you have to talk about restorative practices,
yep, the green highlights clarifies definitions of the school climate, school environment. Thank you.
we get this, we get all this.
So that's that, 8.8. That's the title.
That's the Title IX reverting back to
Student version.
Okay, well,
And then the transportation, essentially just some minor word language changes. Particularly, well, you know, the language put in that the month of January, February, and March, buses will be provided for students known as the winter buses for the snow walkers. And grades 9 through 12, the numbers have changed from 2 miles to 1.5. So that's essentially that policy right there.
And for for the months of January, February, March, that's for NFA and Norwich Tech High School.
and that's still like the hub, like you did.
Yes.
Okay, it was not named here, so I don't want people to think it's business as.
Yeah, so the state law hasn't changed. We're just comporting our policy with practice. The 1.5 miles, even though we do have the option to go up to 2 miles.
All right, so those are the 9 policies for first read, and then next month we'll go ahead and vote.
Amber, I have a good question for you.
Is 5145.5 supposed to have like track changes, or is it just
Which one is not?
the one regarding Title IX?
No, because it's just going back to a previous version. So they didn't redline it. I just.
It's okay. I was like, what's the changes? That's fine, thank you.
Okay, old business, unfinished business, there was none. Committee reports, budget, we're into the ad hoc now. We heard a report from Joe DeLucia on the ad hoc and my few comments on the ad hoc. The negotiation, we did come to a successful negotiation conclusion with the administrative assistants. They're voting on the final contract, and we should have that ready for next month, presented to us. School building committee also reports on that. We've heard about the groundbreaking for Stanton, and in Greenville will be sometime in June, hopefully. And because of
I think it's July now. They said.
oh, it could possibly be July. But because of the late start with Greenville and the extensive site work there, that school most likely has been pushed back for an opening date of January of 2027. Stanton should be available and ready to go in August of 26.
At the very end of August, so.
At the very end of August.
Carolina's gonna be
It's
on it
gonna
for
be
that.
like
Hopefully they can get it sooner.
We may be like on 48 hours with no sleep.
We'll see what our
We'll all
calendar
be
committee
hired
comes up
to
with
help.
too.
We're gonna send Nick Federici over there to help out. Volunteer.
Any report from transportation?
I did that already. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
nothing,
that's right.
nothing other to report.
Yeah.
Okay. And policy, we heard from Kevin. IDCS,
All right, so I got a few things. So one, IDCS lost someone who had been like a bedrock para at IDCS for quite some time. Heather Spate has moved to a position at NFA. I just think it'd be nice to acknowledge her here as well because she did a lot for IDCS.
I thought she passed.
No, she just moved on to NFA. To NFA, not.
I thought the same thing, I was like,
Sometime around, I would say probably 7 or 8 years ago.
What was her position?
She was a para there for a very long time and just did so much with
Dedicated.
so many students. Really helpful with everything that she did there. There's a second and third grade position that is open this year and has been posted to the public. The school is working with a program called Smiles on the Move to sign up students for dental care. They are upgrading their student network filtering capabilities to enhance internet safety. Also evaluating vendors to try to see if they can save money on copying costs. So starting tomorrow and for a week, they'll have their pre-K screenings. So from the 14th to the 21st. Thursday is the IDCS spring concert. And then next Friday, the 23rd, is the IDCS talent show. I am not.
When is the concert?
Concert is this Thursday, the 15th. I want to say 5:30. Didn't break that time down. But it is this Thursday evening.
that's also the open house for NTA.
It's like
May 15th is a lot like June 10th.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
more things going on. The operating budget is available to be viewed now for the school year 25-26. I believe that is supposed to be voted on this month's meeting coming up. There may be some changes that are made even after that's passed if the State Department of Ed makes some changes to charter school funding. So they have a budget that is based off of what is currently expected, but there could be some revisions that would be made in July or August, depending on what the State Department of Ed does. But the operating budget is there for the public to see and view. That's what I have for IDCS.
Have they started renovation work on the house
Yes,
there?
so the process has been started. I don't think that they have construction workers in there yet, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it has to go out.
It's
to
exciting
bid.
though, getting them finally.
And Greg, can you just briefly go over how did the student research night?
Oh man, research night was, as always, incredible. So we call it research night, but it has grown because the middle school program has grown there to where it's actually 2 nights, where half of the students present on, all the research will be there, but half of the students present on one night and half on another night. Otherwise, it's just too crowded up in there. But I've said before, having taught at a university level and having students do research, it rarely came anywhere near what these students do. Research is a tenet of the integrated day charter school. So from the time they're in pre-K, they learn about the research process and presenting their research. So by the time they get to 7th and 8th grade, what they're able to do, present, and accomplish it's impressive. So I apologize that last month I didn't put more information out there to everybody saying, hey, come check this out, because it is a sight to see. These kids just showing off what they've learned and what they know in ways and with facets that are just really impressive. The artistry and the knowledge that these students display is impressive.
This is an annual event.
It's a lot of, yes, for parents too. It's a lot of work. By the time they get to middle school, so there is a policy and practice of weaning the kids away from being more parent involved. There's actually more work for a pre-K or kindergarten research, even though it's smaller, not as many facets. By 7th or 8th grade, the students are pushed to be more independent. More of the work is done at the school and less of it is expected to be done at home. But there still is a lot that families put into helping their students to make these presentations.
And this is an annual event.
Annual event, yeah, every year in May.
But they have numerous research projects throughout the year and in the summer. They still do summer,
They do a
right?
summer research, which is presented within the first week or two of school. And then depending on the grade level, they do 2 or 3 other researches throughout the year. Middle school does 2 because they're expected to be so much bigger and more in-depth. One, a summer research, an early year, and a May research project.
So it's sort of like an integrated term paper with research.
Research should integrate all, you should have facets representing all of the different academic areas and
Even a
subjects.
food item, to
Yep.
come up with relative, like, we had to beat our brains on some things coming up with. Oh, it's a lot of work, but it's amazing what the kids come out with.
And the public speaking skills is what's really
Everything
impressive. You
about
see
it,
a lot of kids
Absolutely.
who early in their educational careers just cannot speak in front of a class or people, but a lot of them at graduation will be talking about how they've grown as public speakers because of their experience with the process.
Thanks.
Okay, and might as well continue right with.
Oh yeah, learn. Amber, I'm gonna send you the Learn report. I'm sorry I didn't get that to you before Friday. The Board of Directors budget overview is now available, so I'll send it to you. They have a fairly healthy standing with their budget and their finances, but they are facing the same pressures of rising costs as districts are, and they are also pushing and looking for state funding for RESCs with our legislature. The executive director spent a good amount of time presenting on the magnet pathway alignment, so I'm not going to go into more details about that. And so this was just a statement I thought was important to just mention. The business office attended the Connecticut Association of School Business Officials Conference last month as well, remarking that they gained valuable insights and networking opportunities at those. I don't know if Bob was able to make it to that or not.
He was there.
I'm sure. Awesome. That's for the Learn report.
The NFA, big news at NFA, they've reached an agreement with Park Church and they're converting the old rectory building there to student housing. So they're going to put, I believe, 15 students, will be tuition students that come from out of country or out of state to, as resident students there. They just don't have enough interest or foster families to support the foster program, and they're they're always trying to fill their empty spots. They're very thankful for the students from Norwich, which, as the student population decreases in the other sending towns, Norwich is now upwards of 85 to 90% of the student population at NFA.
Will they have someone stay there with them, or?
They will, yes. So that's probably at least another, I don't know if it's gonna be ready this fall, it may be another year or so.
Is that the one they're doing all the work on the roof across the street from NFA?
Yes, they're putting new slate roofs on, I believe, both the church and the rectory building. And there's some arrangement there where the church is still gonna be the church, they're still gonna be able to use the church, but NFA is gonna, I guess, own the property, so there's some sort of maintenance agreement going on between the two.
So which house is it, Mark? The Bishop's is there. Oh, did that white?
Park Church, directly.
Yeah, no, I know Park, but where's the rectory part of it?
To the back, I think where the daycare is.
Attachment.
I never realized there was a part of it that was a rectory. My kids went there to.
Yeah, if you go along Crescent Street,
I didn't realize there was part of that.
yeah,
The
that's,
lessees owned that first older home
right.
before.
And they say it's gorgeous inside. Well, you figure it's all, stained glass and
House.
Victorian architecture, so it must be beautiful inside. But
Can
evidently,
I ask, I needed to clarify.
I don't know if it's gonna be ready this fall or not. I know that it needs some extensive work.
What's interesting about it though is that they're gonna have to have some kind of staffing in there.
Right.
So budget wise, they have the funds obviously to do all these renovations and yet the tuition is not gonna equal the renovations. So this is interesting. It just shows you.
Yeah, well, they built up their hockey program also. I think they have something like 20 kids from out of state or out of country that come and play hockey. So they, and then they have foreign students. I know they've got from China, from Finland, I know there's 6 or 7 different countries.
I know there's a girl from Italy coming. She has a very Irish name. She's staying with my friends.
All right. And if you're interested to be a foster family, I think they pay $1,000 a month for people to foster kids.
Yeah, to be host families. They're always looking.
All right. And their projections are, they should be, budget-wise, they should be all right as far for this year anyways. Let's see, foundation, we're working on, we've done our spring grants and everything, and then we're planning on depositing $2,500 towards, we have, I think it's 5 years to set up $10,000 in a particular, in the community foundation fund, so that we have a steady income coming from that every year. I know we've had a request from NPS for, unfortunately, I don't think we have the funds available for $2,500 for wood chips for the playgrounds. Because they need something like 8 inches of wood chips.
For NIAC
So you're
accreditation.
For a little while now.
So, if you're able to donate a couple of bags of wood chips, that'd be helpful.
I've made contact with 2 landscaping services in town to see if they'll split the amount of money
Really?
pay for it, so I'll let
What
you
did
know.
you just say?
So I've contacted 2 landscaping services in town to see if they'd be interested in.
That's a
doing
great
it.
idea.
So I'll know by the end of the week.
Lou
And,
DePina and I helped do the load for the charter school, the first load. Unloading it, spreading it. God bless him. He's a
And
good
Mark,
guy.
did the foundation select new leadership?
Unfortunately, the May meeting I didn't make. I was at another event. Oh, I was at the negotiation for the.
Admin.
Yeah.
I didn't remember which event he was at.
That's
They all run
You're like,
together.
for sure.
It's like,
I was somewhere.
there's always someplace to go. And in your additional reports is Bob's up-to-date budget report. Again, as he said, hopefully that's good news where we don't have to tap into or go hat in hand for the rainy day fund for this year, because it looks like the following year we may get slammed depending on what happens with the state, how much funding we get from them. And the personnel report, you said you're pretty well set as far as that goes. Enrollment figures for the year, I think we're down, total of about 100 students this year from
This month.
last
We
year.
got that little batch, right? Oh, enrollment for next year you're talking about?
No, I'm saying,
Updated enrollment.
the updated enrollment, you know, we get the monthly report
Yeah,
and then,
I know what you
I compare it just, to the
It
year
changes
previously.
so often.
Right.
Yeah.
But on average, I think we're down, for the year, about 100 students, from the previous year. Okay, anything else anyone wants to add? If not,
Us to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
34.
See my kids tonight.
That's cool. I think that's a.
Yeah.